My name is Amanda Green Hawkins, and I live in the city of Pittsburgh. I've lived in the city for the past 20 years, and I'm originally from Jersey City, New Jersey, where I was born and raised. And I moved to Pittsburgh because of my job as a lawyer with the Steelworkers Union that I chose right before I finished law school. And I wanted to work in the labor movement and work with the union because of an experience that I had during an interview. I need to talk about my dad. My dad was a truck driver and he was in the Carpenters Union, but my dad was also an alcoholic. And there was a time his employer was going to fire him, but his union stepped up. They stepped up for him. And my dad was able to go to rehab, and he was able to return to work without incident for another 20 years and retire with his pension and his dignity. And so that happened when I was rather young, probably about 9 or 10 years old. So when I was about to graduate law school, I was looking for a job like a lot of people and looking to make a lot of money like a lot of people. I had about $100,000 in student loans. And I was interviewing with a big New York City area firm. And during the interview, I was asked, how would I feel about busting up a union? That's what they asked me when I told them I wanted to do labor and employment law. And everything that I remember about my dad and our time when my dad was an alcoholic and dealing with all of that and what a union really meant to my family, all that came back. And I knew instantly that I could not fight against people who were looking for dignity and respect in their jobs. Because one thing I know is that my life would be so different if my dad had lost that union job with those wages and those benefits. And so I decided I was going to find a job with the union, and I did. I was fortunate enough to find my position with the Steelworkers Union, and I moved here in 2002 to take my job with the Steelworkers Union. I've been here ever since. And I actually met my husband because of my job, because my father-in-law and I were colleagues. He worked in another part of the country, but we were colleagues. And when we were at a conference in Memphis, Tennessee, my husband was there to meet up with his dad, and that's where we met. And so my husband is now here in the city of Pittsburgh, and we've been married 12 years, and we have 2 kids who are both Pittsburgh public school students, and our son is 10, our daughter's 5, and we've been enjoying our lives and everything that Pittsburgh has to offer. We live in the East End part of Pittsburgh in a neighborhood called Stanton Heights, which is very diverse, walkable, and just a great place to live. I've been in the neighborhood for 19 years, and working with the Steelworkers Union has allowed me to really have some rich experiences with people of all different backgrounds all around the country, because when you're working with people from different parts of the country and different backgrounds, you're learning so much about their lives, the quality of lives, and things that are important to them. And what I found with everyone I've met, no matter where I've been, is that everybody's generally interested in the same things. They want their families to be healthy. They want to be able to put food on the table and keep a roof over their heads. And there are certain those are the foundational things that we all tend to want and desire, to make sure that we're able to participate effectively in our society and our economy. And so the career has certainly been very rewarding to be able to work with people all around the country and to be able to make sure that they're getting their dignity and respect in the workplace and also in our society at large. I've also served on county council here in Pittsburgh. I have also served on our Port Authority board. And I serve with a number of community organizations in the Pittsburgh area that do work statewide. And I am running for Commonwealth Court. I'm running for Commonwealth Court because the Commonwealth Court is the court the appellate court here in Pennsylvania that hears all of the appeals from our state administrative agencies. I call them the alphabet soup of state agencies. So when we're talking about the Pennsylvania Labor Relations Board, the PLRB, that's the court that hears appeals from those decisions. When we're talking about the Pennsylvania Utility Commission, Public Utility Commission, that's another agency that would that the appeals would go to our Commonwealth Court. Any agency decision. And these agencies are making so many decisions about our lives. And it's just really important that the people have a venue to challenge decisions that are being made by these agencies. It's been called the People's Court. It's where the people can go to make sure that the government is giving them whatever it is that they believe they're due, or where they can make sure that the government is not taking away something from them that they have a right to. And when it comes to things like homes being foreclosed on because of taxes, it's important to know that it's the Commonwealth Court where you can appeal decisions regarding those tax liens that the government has placed on your home. When we're talking about the woman's right to privacy in healthcare decisions made with her doctor, it's the Commonwealth Court that's going to be hearing those issues. When we're talking about licensing of healthcare facilities in neighborhoods to provide access to healthcare, it's going to be the Commonwealth Court that's going to hear challenges about whether a place should operate or not. It's just really important with education, voting rights, so many things that we just go about our business with. People would be amazed the impact the Commonwealth Court can have on these rights. And when it comes to voting, it is the court that's going to hear challenges of election law matters. And we saw that on full display last fall, November of 2020. And it's important. It's important that people understand not only the role that this court has in their lives, but that people understand the backgrounds of the judges on this court. And with my 20 years of experience as a lawyer, going all around the country, meeting people where they are and talking to them, not only have I learned a lot about people, but I've also seen the impacts and effects of racial disparities, sexism, economic disparities, the things that keep people marginalized and out of the conversation of what justice and fairness are. These are things that need to be addressed in our system so that everybody can participate. And we have to look at what's going on around us. Why I'm running for Commonwealth Court. We know that people are concerned about bias in our judicial system. Our own interbranch commission here in Pennsylvania reports that people are experiencing bias from some judges. And we look at a situation that we had right here in Allegheny County just last year, where a judge was accused of making racially inflammatory remarks. And we're looking at our judicial system where we have one judge of color out of 31 appellate court judges here in Pennsylvania. And we cannot unsee what we saw last year in our streets. Thousands of people across the country in our streets last summer asking if justice was accessible or attainable for people who look like them. And I can't deny or ignore that there are people who also look like me and my children and my family. And I am running because I want to see people of different backgrounds, different races, perspectives on that court. And many times when you're looking for change, you have to step up and be the change that you want to see. And that's what I'm doing. I'm stepping up to be the change that I want to see in our Commonwealth Court. It fits with my background of being a lawyer with a union. I have the background of administrative work for the past 20 years, and I've done voter protection work for the past 20 years as well. And it is where my skills and my talents would best allow me to serve, and to also make sure that the voices of people who look like me, sound like me, are at that table when we're talking about what justice and fairness should look like. With about 20 years of experience as a union lawyer, I have been working with the largest industrial union in North America. We represent about 1 million people, workers, and retirees throughout the public and private sectors of our economy. I'm also one of only 2,000 or so attorneys in our entire country considered to be a union lawyer by our national AFL-CIO. And that means something. It means that my career is steeped in administrative law. And for the Commonwealth Court, it's important to have a strong background in administrative law. And because I've been working with the union for going on 20 years, and I have been doing hearings before state and federal administrative agencies around the country and appealing decisions of state agencies as well as federal agencies in courts around the country, my background is well suited for the work of the Commonwealth Court, because it's the court that hears those appeals of the agencies. It's also the court where lawsuits by the government or against the government are brought as well. And I have served as an elected official, and we have certainly seen more than our fair of suits as an elected body. And I've also served on the Port Authority Board of Allegheny County. And lawsuits concerning the Port Authority Board could certainly go to our Commonwealth Court. And issues concerning election law are certainly heard in Commonwealth Court. I think many people now understand why Pennsylvania is a keystone state, given the things that we were facing last fall in November 2020 during our general election. One of those issues concerned whether all of our mail-in ballot votes would count. And that was heard by our Commonwealth Court. And while the judge hearing that case basically decided that our votes shouldn't count, our Supreme Court reversed the decision on appeal, thereby saving all of our votes, and our voices were heard, of course, and our electoral votes went to the Biden-Harris team. But I have this 20 years of experience also doing voter protection work throughout the Commonwealth with a team of lawyers. So my background is certainly right for it. It's not only right for it because of the experiences I have as an attorney in my professional life, but even before I became an attorney, I was doing work with a federal court judge where he heard appeals from the Social Security Administration, which is an agency. When I worked with a state court judge in New Jersey, he was handling appeals from state and local municipal bodies concerning land use, concerning public employee discipline, concerning public contract awards. My career for even 20 plus years, when I look at it in totality, has really concerned the work of the Commonwealth Court. And I am the only candidate with a strong and extensive background in labor, in addition to these other experiences that I'm bringing. And it makes me well suited for the Commonwealth Court. Plain and simple, I passed the FIT test. FIT. We want judges on our courts who are fair. And in my background, I certainly showed that fairness when I worked as a mediator. I was a third-party neutral, helping parties in disputes reach a mutually agreeable resolution that they could both live with. And I did that with over 100 cases. I also had to show that fairness when I worked with the state court judge as well as a federal court judge, being in chambers with the judges and learning the law, being mentored by them, and drafting those opinions and memoranda to make the appropriate recommendations to the judges about the decisions that they should make. And I have to point out that the state court judge that I worked with often read whatever I drafted right into the record. And it's become a part of permanent history, his decisions. And with the I, you're looking for someone with integrity, someone who's going to do the right thing no matter what is going on around them, all of the distractions and all the pressures and all the noise. And I certainly had to show that integrity when I was on Allegheny County Council, in sponsoring that legislation to prohibit discrimination against people based on their gender identity or expression, because I certainly got pressured to do something different. And when I served on the Port Authority Board of Allegheny County and on the Community Task Force on Police Reform, there's certainly pressures to do something different than I knew what was right to do. But I take my oath, and my oath to do the right thing. I take my fiduciary responsibilities very seriously, and more importantly, the trust that the people place in me as a public official, as a public appointee to do the right thing, I take very seriously and show that integrity despite all the noise going on around me. And with the T, you're looking for someone with the right temperament. Someone who's going to treat people with dignity and respect. And I've already talked about people experiencing bias in our system. I've already talked about only one person of color being in our entire appellate system of 31 judges. And look around. We cannot unsee the thousands and thousands of people in our streets crying and begging for justice and fairness and asking, is justice accessible or attainable for people who look like me? Can't deny it, can't ignore it. And it's important, even more so now, that judges show the right temperament, have the right temperament on our benches, because people can live with a decision even if they disagree with it, as long as they feel that they have been fully heard and treated with dignity and respect and their voices valued. And that's what I'm committed to showing as a judge in our appellate system and on Commonwealth Court. Fairness, integrity, and the right temperament in treating people with dignity and respect. Barbara Jordan said, what the people want is very simple. They want an America as good as its promise. And we talk about that promise when we say our Pledge of Allegiance. We talk about liberty and justice for all. But when we look around, do we see liberty and justice for all? When we talk about that bias in our system, when we talk about judicial temperament and people not being treated with dignity and respect in our system, and people questioning the integrity of our judicial system, are we getting that liberty and justice for all? Well, I'm running, and people should vote for me, because I plan to give the people what they want: dignity and respect and fairness for all.
Thanks for watching the video. Make sure you hit the like button and subscribe to the channel so I can bring you more videos on subjects like this and many other topics. Please leave any comments in the comment section. Any questions or comments, I'll get back to them as soon as I possibly can. Thanks a lot for watching. Hope you have a great day, and I'll see you in the next video.